Hello, everyone. I'm Jesus, and welcome to the next episode of The Road to Old School NTG. In this episode, I just have one item to open up. This should be a revised Underground C. This would make my third Underground C, and I need one more towards creating Brian Weissman's The Deck. Other than the Black Lotus, which I just don't have the intention of getting at the moment or anytime soon, really. Other than that, I'm following his exact deck list in terms of his the 2019, I believe, video that he made from the tournament that he old school tournament that he participated and won in. So I've been just from building my card pool, I've had most of the components. The main ones I've had to buy cards that weren't part of my original card pool were two The Abyss, which I already got, Italian, and Underground Seas. So I had two from before. This is number 3, one more to go, but I'm not in any hurry to get those because I'm still very much playing with my Armageddon type decks. So, I have my hands full with that. So as I see a good price, which I got it definitely this one in, and my other Underground Seas definitely as well. So as I see good prices in, I will make the purchase. So other than that, this one card, then given this would have been a short video because of that, I figured I would also show some other vintage Magic items that I bought in terms of just collecting, just for fun, right? It's not related to gaming, but just history-wise. And then finally, I also want to briefly talk about the results of my first tournament, online tournament. And so we'll talk about all those things. So first, looking at this item here. So this is from the Facebook Old School Magic Marketplace. I got this card for $600. This should be in light plate condition. So I was given the photos and such. And I have my other two revised Underground Seas just as a comparison, right? So I want to keep this camera in focus, just, for verification's sake, in case anything happens. But I'm pretty confident of this transaction here. Some more. And of course, I want to be careful here. Catching the bubble mailer bubbles there, so I know I'm cutting into foam. Where is the card? Oof, still within. Okay, that's not it. Man, this is pretty. Okay, right here, I think. Okay, there we go. That's the opening. Whoop, there it is. All right, so in a nice plastic within the top loader, and then deck sleeve. Yeah, looks pretty nice. Perfect fit sleeve seems like. So that means I can use this one. All right. Ooh, it's very off-centered, you see? Big border on here, but that's No, that's okay. The front is decently centered. The back is a little off, which is a little odd. I gotta double check on that, right? So I would think both sides would be equally off-centered, but the front is fine, as you see here. All the back is off. But I think I've seen that before, right? So, but all the other indications seem fine. So I think, yeah, that's just, how that particular card came out. So here are my other two, which are these I got for 500. This one has a little bit of a bend there, as you can see, and actually it's a little wobbly, you see, but I got it for 500, so can't complain. But these were heavy plate. In comparison to this one, this is a lot better. So $100 more, but condition is infinitely better. And that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Right, since I already got two that are, pretty beat up, but, still perfectly fine, especially the fronts. It's what I care most about, right? That's the visible part. My fourth one, also trying to get something in the light plate area, as long as I can get it for a decent price. These I got for 500 basically each. This was 600. So if I can get another one for 600 in similar condition, I jump at the chance. But yeah, it seems good comparison, like yeah, seems good. All right, so let me put it on my up close camera. So it's, okay center, right? It's not perfect, definitely. Right, this side I think is a little bit broader than my thumb side. Yeah. So let's see. So this side is yep, and actually it does coincide. That's the side here that's also thicker, although this side here and the other side is very thin line, right? So in comparison. So the back is a little bit more beat up, but still very, very nice. So yeah, I think it's happy with the purchase. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick peek at the message transaction that I have with this seller. I just want to confirm that, this back is the same one that he provided in terms of the picture. Assuming he gave me a back picture. We'll see. Maybe not. Yeah. Well, what happens is, the listing goes live, and then that's what you see. In terms of, the listing that's available, you go to it, you reply, right? But then, that's where all the information is at, right? So I just looked at my messages with the person, and there were no pictures in that particular particular exchange. Let's see. All right, well, I'll have to get back regarding that particular detail. Let's see if I can find the listing that I got this from, but it may not be live anymore. We'll see. But it's just for me to make final check through. Well, other than that, it looks fine, and definitely way better condition than the other two. So I'm still very happy to add this new one to the collection, right? So even though big off centering in the back, but the front is pretty nice. So that's fine. That's 3, one more to go to finish my my playset. The Brian Weissman's the deck list has 4 of them, right? So I need one more. All right, so now here you guys can kind of see some stuff that I have. Right, so maybe some people have interest in this, maybe not, but I figure might as well show some of the other things I've been getting, mainly for fun. All right, so this is a artist proof of the card Ursus Avenger, and the art is by the original artist, Amy Weber, of the same Ursus Avenger, right? So it's pretty cool. So this is, I just wanted it for in terms of decorating my living space here. I just, personalize it with the things I love. So let's see if I can put up close of this one. Okay, let's see if I can remove it from the. Yep, and the sleeve came up pretty. So this is now the bear card. Okay, there we go. All right, so I think it's pretty cool. So I got this off eBay for around $50, something like that. So I'm pretty impressed. And then it came with, some a message from the artist. So it was pretty cool. All right, so this is the card. She has some with the Time Walk art, which was very tempting, but it, an actual artist proof of the Time Walk card would be in the thousands. Plus with her art on it, even more so. So she tends to do that artwork, but in the back of another, cheaper card. So since, I wanted the same card with her art of the same card, this was one of the ones that were available online. She has a online store where she has this kind of stuff, and she has a lot. So anybody interested should check that out. Right, so that's one little thing I have here. And I do plan to get a couple more of these. I definitely want one, especially with from Anson Maddox. I've looked him up. He does this a lot as well. So that one would be unless I find something online already pre-made by him. He basically does, it's custom. You ask him what you want, and then he'll make it. And depending the difficulty of of the work, the detailing that you want, there's different price ranges. All right, so here I've been getting into just for fun, collecting some of these old school magic. These are from 95, 96. Right, so very old, just as old as these cards. There's an Ice Age block of comics, Falling Empires, and actually the main reason why I originally got into wanting to get these is because some of these, like this one, has a booster pack in it. The funny thing about this particular purchase, so Falling Empires booster packs are going for around like $20 each. I got this thing for like $25 shipped, right? And then usually $20 for the pack, and then you still got to pay shipping. So basically, I got the pack, I paid for the pack, and I got the comic free, right? In this case. And so, that was just, basically you're getting a 2-for-1 deal there. And this particular one, of course, it has the pack because it's still sealed, right? So as much as I can, I'm going to try to get these sealed. And they don't all have packs. This one just comes with, but some of them come with other cool stuff. This one comes with tokens. This one is +1, +1, -1, -1. Others, actually, yeah, -1, +1. So pretty cool things. This is supposed to be extra mana. Let's see if it's visible there a bit. Right, because of the plastic foil, it's a little hard to tell. Okay. Actually, maybe in my up close camera. You can see the detail a little better. Okay, there it is, yeah. So it just has a cardboard, you poke these out, they're perforated, different things, and this is supposed to be mana. I don't know how you will use this. But, you know, this was cool. A lot of these, so, and then here's this comic. So November 2, but doesn't include the year. Here's the other one that has a Falling Empires booster pack inside it. So all of these, I have 4 comics. All of these are still in the original packaging, right? Or else, you know, people would already taken the pack. So this one cost a little bit more. This one basically, I paid $10 for the comic, and then the usual 20 for the pack, right? That's in the back, right? So this one, I did pay for the comic basically. This one now is going into Ice Age. So I guess it did a promo for Falling Empires. Those 2 were from Falling Empires. The other 2 I showed. Well, 2 out of the 3. Then this is another Ice Age one. This one just comes with 1 card inside. Where is it? There. It's Fireball, 4th edition, I believe, right? So yeah, nothing fancy or anything. I was hopeful maybe some of these Ice Age ones would have an Ice Age pack in it, but no. Seems like what I've seen, only the Falling Empires ones. Maybe Homelands, we'll see. But definitely Falling Empires so far is the only packs within the comics that I've seen. And I already purchased like 5 more. So those are coming, are on the way. But none of them have packs. They're more like this one. Either has a card. And the other ones, I got a couple more to finish off the Ice Age story here. These, so I got 3 Falling Empires. So I have 1 more Falling Empires because it's usually either 2 or 4, you know, for a storyline from a set. So this is 1. I think I got the other 3 from Ice Age, and then I got some other random ones. The other ones, just either cards or more tokens. And they're all with the original plastic, right? So I'm just for fun, just to keep it all uniform and trying to do that. But certain ones I've noticed is like I haven't seen any with the plastic. So eventually I may have to just purchase some that don't have any original packaging, right? But you know, it all depends what's available online. All right, so then in addition, I got a couple of Inquest magazines here. So these are, Inquest is what I read back in the day to keep up to date of, you know, with the just the gaming community, you know, the other games that are coming up. I don't know if I'm going to collect all of these, you know, I wouldn't collect all, you know, maybe like the first 10, 15, but these are definitely more expensive, right? So quite a bit more. These are super cheap. You can get so the ones without packs were like less than $10 each. That's nuts. In original packaging. The one with the packs, basically you pay $20. Basically you pay for the pack. If you're lucky, you're basically paying for the pack like I did with this one. With this one, I just pay for the pack. I got the comic for free. With this one, it costs like around $5, $10 additional, you know, on top for the comic. So, you know, but you know, I still wouldn't call that, you know, a bad deal. It's, you know, I'm perfectly willing to, you know, pay the money for the comic itself, right? So the bad thing is, of course, is sealed, right? So I can't read the comics. That'd be cool. But I'm sure there's some kind of online database where I can actually read it if I wanted to. So that's not a big deal. Okay, these were pretty cool. So, because, you know, really, this one really takes you back to, you know, for those who know of this magazine, you know, who were into gaming at this time. I like it. I mainly got it for, of course, the magic content. Magic is the main item written about in the magazine. But it also has, you see, overpower. It's really cool because the Star Trek TCG. So, it's really cool because it delves into those other things that are long gone by now. And some that I didn't even know. Doom Troopers dice game. And this is just cool gaming stuff in general, right? So it has other related things as well. Ooh, Middle Earth. Never knew about this one, you see? So it's pretty cool. Overpower. So it's, and this is really a very trippy. Oh, look what it is. The Ursus Avenger. You can go back in time and see what the going rate was for certain cards. It's pretty crazy. Just for entertainment purposes, let's see. Alpha, right? So it seems like it goes in chronological order. Hopefully in alphabetical order, probably. Yep, seems like it. So Black Lotus, this is what year? December 95, right here at the bottom. So in December 95, going back in time, when I just had money for packs, one or two at a time, what could have I have bought? Let's see, Black Lotus, $250 to $350, depending, I guess, on the condition or low and high. I guess certain ones here are hot. And then, I don't know, what's the, oh yeah, went up, went down, oops. Pink went up, blue went down. Yellow is heavily traded, according to this. And then I believe this one is, oh yeah, this one's alliances. I'll try to find the one that coincides with Ice Age. I think Ice Age already came after this one, so probably before this one, a bit before this particular comic. So and there it is, beta. How much is a beta Black Lotus? 200 to 250. The alpha was 250 to 350 back in 1995. So, right, so this was pretty cool, right? So honestly, this is what, the fun thing that I wanted to kind of like go down memory lane on. So similar. And of course, like it really pops in, just talking about old tournaments and such, other games. Oh yeah, the Netrunner. I wanted to get into that one, but nobody in my group at that time played it. Gangland. Baseball TCG. So yeah. So, these are definitely more expensive, so it'd be harder for me to want to build a full collection of this. But this is definitely more manageable. So just literally like $10, you can $10 shipped or less, you can get any of these that don't have a pack. If you have it has a pack, a bit more, depending on which one you get. Of course, some are more rare than others. I don't know why. Harder to come by. So some other ones you may pay more, right? But unless you're building a full collection, it doesn't matter to you. If you just want just a couple, just for fun, $10, easy. Ooh, this one's a big one. I was able to get the Gathering book, Reuniting Pioneering Artists of Magic the Gathering. So this is pretty cool. This is a pretty in-demand book for Magic fans. So I wanted to get the hardcover, right? But that's into hundreds, like probably 200, yeah, 200 to 300 if you want the hardcover. So I was able to find the soft cover. So I mean, good enough. The cool thing about this is, as it says, it reunites the original artists, and some of them, they're able to, some of their notable artwork compared, they did for at the time, I think 2013, so like almost 10 years ago, a revamped version of an iconic piece of arts, right? So, and it just tells the story of these, of the artists themselves. Look at this one. Merfolk something, right? And then the updated art, very creepy, right? So I'm still reading this. So this one's actually a pretty interesting read, right? So I'm going from the beginning to the end. And then these two. So these are also a bit on the expensive side. They're very chunky books. I started with this one, number 1, and then it's been volume 2. So this is basically back when there was no internet, or at least the internet didn't do this stuff, didn't have this database. So this has a database of the card, the image, the set. It goes by set, right, in chronological order. Alpha, beta. So it's, this is just, of course, this other stuff, it is useful because you can, it still has some old stories and such. This is literally just 100% obsolete. I guess, it does have some interesting stories, right? So, but this is mainly in, and a guide for the cards with some stories splattered here and there, right? So, but for its main purpose as a guide, it's obsolete, right? You can just search all this stuff online. But, it's just more for fun, nostalgia. Suchi, I still got to get some of those. They're pretty popular in old school. So then volume 2, I think there's 5 volumes. So I don't know if I'm going to get through all of these, all 5, since I'm more interested in the old school ones. This one, I think, already covered all of old school, all on its own. This one, then, as it implies here, you see Visions, Mirage, which is definitely still my, within, the time I was active, the 90s, up to 2000, when I was very active, when I was, really heavily into it. So these sets are still also the sets that I experienced back in the day. So that's why I wanted to get this one. So, depending on the price, I may get the other sets, but, the earlier ones are the ones more important to me. If I get the full 5, it's just for my OCD, just to get the full set. All right, so these are the things here that, some additional things may be of interest to you, may not, but I wanted to show. All right, and now finally, my results of my first tournament. So I went 2 and 4. I believe that's the way to say it, right? 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 wins, 4 losses. So 6 matches, 6 opponents, best 2 out of 3. The funny thing is I lost the first 4 and then I won the last 2. I thought I was going to lose all 6. I think the last 2, maybe it was burnout, like, and we were like crunching. We had to like play or else, before the deadline of the first round. So, maybe I got lucky because of that. It was a little rushed, but I won the last 2. All right, so I'm gonna make a big changes to my Armageddon deck. I haven't done it yet because, I've been doing other things, but I've been thinking about, what to change. And let's see, maybe if I can show the card. In a previous video, I had my old school Armageddon, but I made a mistake. The deck had land taxes in it, and I barely had any basic lands, right? So I made a mistake. And then, but I corrected the mistake, and then I added more basic lands, right? But in hindsight, that was a mistake, because I did get to play land tax, so it was useful, but it didn't win me any games, right? So, what happens when I played it, what happened was basically opponents adjusted to it. One opponent, I think he sideboarded out his lands or something. It was nuts. He barely played any lands, but he could perfectly just as easily cast stuff. Like, so he still casted, old school is filled with artifacts that give you mana, right? So, or, they just power in more, add in more disenchants, just things to destroy, right? So I was able to, that definitely at least 2 games I was able to use it. But I don't think it won me. Well, I don't know if I won either of those games. It was a few weeks ago by now. But just the deck as a whole, it was not very good. So even though it has power 9 stuff, the construction of everything else, you can just put power 9 and then you're just automatically gonna win, right? So so the deck needs fine tuning, right? It's still fine. I still won games, but it needs fine tuning, like I said. Okay, so the original version that I had wanted, which is probably that had all dual lands mainly. So I think that's the one that I'm going to end up going back to, right? Or something similar to that, because like I said, like adding basic lands just so I can maximize the land tax thing, of the value of the land tax. Okay, I add the value, the land tax becomes effective. But opponents just work their way around it, or my deck just it didn't win me the game just from that. So not that I expected to, but I expected it to to get me towards the win faster. And if I might have won, but if I did, not to the degree that I wanted to. So it's just not, to me, it doesn't seem like it's worth it. All right, so the deck that I took. So, and then this is the deck I showed on my video originally. You see, I only have 2 basic lands, and then I got the land tax, right? So that was a big mistake on my part, right? Because I just had dual lands in the brain. Like that's when I was focusing big time on getting these dual lands. But then I'm like, wait, I got land taxes here, like So then I went back to the original version over here, right? So good thing I didn't lose the picture, right? So I still had the picture there. So here it is, and so either like I didn't draw a lot of lands, like I was very low on lands, or just mana didn't ramp up, so I was slow, or I didn't have enough threats, right? So there's 8 threats basically, 4 Urnams, 4 Serra Angels, right? So I didn't get them enough, right? So from those 2 ends, just the deck didn't function the way I wanted to. So for the results, like I said, I lost the first 4, but I won some of those games, but overall I lost the match. So first game I lost 2-0. Oh, the guy wiped the floor with me. I was never in it. But that was the first game I ever played in old school, right? So, and it was a deck I hadn't seen. Like a lot of these, like even if I know what, okay, I played against the deck actually. That was pretty fun. So even though I've done my research, a few things prepare you for actually playing against those decks that you've been researching, right? So research is one thing, experience playing against those decks is something else. I don't have that. I just had the research without the experience, right? So but now I'm getting those experiences. So the first game, first opponent I lost 2-0. Next, I think it was against the deck. I won the first one, then he sideboarded, and he won the other 2. On the third one, I was close. Like if I had drawn, I had him on the ropes, but or I think I did, right? Maybe I did, right? Because the deck is known for falling behind, or at least seeming to fall behind when when it really isn't. It's just letting you, set yourself, lets the opponent go because the deck only cares if it's at 0 life, right? So it doesn't mind losing life unless until, as long as it still has 1 life, he can still win, right? So I think I was close, but maybe I wasn't on the third game. But but either way, I still lost. Third game, same. I lost both matches. Basically wiped the floor again, and then on the fourth game, I won the first, lost the other two. So I forgot what kind of decks the other two. Oh, I think the deck was on the fourth game. The second game I played a game, a deck, reanimation deck of the All Hallows Eve. So that was I knew the card, but just didn't know the deck. But now I know, right? So just didn't know the game plan. But either way, even if I had known, my sideboard here, this is another reason why I didn't do good. I think this sideboard is for the metagame that I have and this is all for New England old school. It just didn't fit. Like here, I added these for control. The opponent just played around, like around it. So it didn't, it helped a little bit, but it didn't win me any games. But honestly, I made a mistake also with these. I mind twisted some. I think on the deck when he was low on life, because he, like for me, I thought it was more important to take his options out of his hand than for him to get up to get more damage, right? But actually, in hindsight, I think that was a mistake. I may have been able to win the third one of that game where I did that mistake, right? So I shouldn't have done that. So inexperience. But yeah, most of these sideboard stuff it didn't do anything, right? Or barely. I sideboarded in 2 of these, Dust to Dust. I think I played one time I played it, but the guy was so ahead by then, didn't make much difference, right? So definitely this sideboard has big revamps. But either way, I'm not gonna play this version anymore. I'm more likely to play something like this, right? So even this, I'm still gonna switch because it's still too low on. So I think these two are the same deck, right? So same sideboard. The difference is, yeah, this is the one where I made the mistake. I added 2 land tags when I only have 2 lands, right? So I can't do that. But this has a much better mana base. For this one, it was a lot of times I couldn't cast the Sarah Angels. Either I didn't have enough lands or just didn't have the right type. So, and then I didn't have the birds out. So it's just, it didn't work out, at least consistently. So I did get to do a 1 Chaos Orb flip, and I got the flip, so that was cool. I also got a couple Chaos Orbs flipped on me, so that was cool to experience. Also, a couple opponents had Black Lotus, and they used this, so that was pretty cool to have that experience of seeing a Black Lotus in action, against me. And then a cool thing I did in one game, which was was helpful. I didn't win the game, but maybe I did. Was like I said, it's a couple weeks by now. But I got the Winter Orb Icy Manipulator. Where is it? Where's the Icy Manipulator? Oh, there it is. Icy Manipulator combo, right? So that was pretty cool. So that I did win a few games from those first 4 matches, right? And the ones where I got blown out, I think it's just from inexperience. I just didn't know what kind of deck I was being played against me. That was playing against, right? So it's still an okay deck, but it definitely needs improvement. So I think this version improves on the mana base. So I have now 2 scrublands, helps me out with this. And it adds 4 tropical islands, helps me to cast these, right? So this gives me more ability to cast these power 9 cards. Well, these 2 power 9s, and then these are just powerful cards. So then I can't use the land taxes with this, but that's fine because, like I said, I think I might just ditch for this one. I have to ditch the land tax plan because I want to keep these cards. So, but I need more threats, right? So honestly, I might not even, I might, just improve on this deck, but more likely than not, I'm just gonna try my Bantamgeddon. I just try a different version of the Armageddon decks. I have like several, right? So instead of just trying to fix this one, I'll just play another one. And that's what I would have done, but the next tournament, old school tournament, is X points. And then as I'm practicing, just on my own here, playing mock games, I didn't like the performance of the X points deck that I had created. Well, maybe I might as well just show the picture since I'm showing it here, just to be thorough. So this is my X points Armageddon deck that I had done before I played any games. So, just seeing the experience I had with the other deck, this one has same thing, land taxes, a lot of lands, right? So that's that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? So just that if I go that route, I need to fix other things then. So this has the addition of creature, but it still has the 8 threats, 4 Ernems, so the Ernems are fine. The Serengos, I just can't. It's hard for me to cast these. People, opponents kill the birds, the elves, destroy the moxes, right? So, and that's only 20 lands here, right? So even though I have maybe 6 additional artifacts, 5 artifacts for mana, and then 6 additional creatures for mana. There's still a lot, right? That's like 30 mana producing things, over 30 actually. But it's still that it wasn't enough, it got killed, or it was too much and I didn't draw. A lot of times I barely drew, I didn't draw any threats. So I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. And this, this particular version doesn't have any card draw. At least the other one I could, I had some card draw, right? So, but now for X points, you have to consider you got 10 points, at least in the current X point system. Land taxes are 1 point each, Armageddons are 1 point each, which I think is unfair because if you're building an Armageddon deck and you have land taxes and Armageddons, which a lot of them would, that's immediately like 5-6 points that you're using up, right? So I think that's, it targets this particular deck a bit too heavily. So that's already 6 points. Then 2 points for each of the moxes, that's 10 points, right? So, but that's what I'm saying. Like this particular version I played, I created it, out of my pool of cards. I played around with it. I just didn't like it. So I am going more for the Bantamgeddon version of the deck that I have. So I'm about to make a picture of the new deck that I have, but I haven't made it yet because I was still trying it, right? But the deck pictures are due soon, so I have to make that picture, take that photo. So this is not the actual photo of the X points deck, but it's pretty close to this, minus of course the very powerful stuff. So the new X points deck that I'm making has Serendipity Freaks, right? So low casting, high power creature, still has the 4 here. It doesn't have this, and I think I took out all the Serengos. Like I just wasn't consistently getting them, the mana for it. So I prefer to, go cheaper. That means I'm more likely to cast the Armageddon like immediately because I'm more likely to get a creature. And then I have, I think the Order of Lake Burst I decided to go with. Mainly for, I've had actually, this reminds me, I had the Abyss. When I was playing against the deck, I had the Abyss played against me and also Drop of Honey. So, the Order of Labor wouldn't, the Drop of Honey wouldn't be, it would still kill it. But for the Abyss, that would be a very important card to have, right? So, once again, trying to add more attackers, early attackers, be more aggro, and so that's the game plan for that other version, right? So I couldn't Ancestral Recall is the most points pointed card in X points. It has 5 points for this, right? So if you have an Ancestral Recall, you can have very little of anything else. The maxes are 2 points each, right? So the X points one, I only have 2 maxes, and then stuff like that. I'll make an official photo and then I might show it later. But this is just to give you an idea of what I'm doing with it. All right, so that wraps up everything I wanted to touch on with this video. Just kind of little review. The new underground sea here. Actually, now that I notice it, it's a bit of a warp. I don't know if I noticed that before. All right, so, but I mean, that's what happens when you buy used. Okay, so I think it just has to acclimate itself maybe a little. We'll see. But still perfectly fine as long as it's flat enough. All right, so that wraps up everything I wanted to touch up here. So not much new cards or such. I do have actually, so if I get, once I get the other comics that I have coming in, some other interesting things, I might make a follow-up video. But yeah, it's been fun collecting these comics. Pretty, plus it's pretty cheap, right? Just this one card is 600 here, right? So this is a steal in comparison. In another video, I showed my Ice Age booster box. I am getting into collecting booster boxes. I bought a Homelands. Was it Homelands? Yeah, Homelands booster box sealed. So that's still on the way. I'll definitely make a video for that one. So little by little, I'm kind of building on my collection of also sealed. I just also joined the sealed MTG sealed Facebook community. So I'm looking to get into that as well. If I have any items related to that, like the Homelands ones that's coming up, I'll of course make videos on those as well. But for today, that's it. Thank you so much.